Warm welcome back to the Forensics Detailing Studio. Where am I?
Woo! Back at Danny's.
At the D to the C to the D-O-double-D-Y, the D-O-double-G. What are we doing, Dan?
We're going to blowtorch this car. No, we are detailing the C4 Aero Taco that I bought a couple of weeks ago.
Yes.
Because all the mechanical work is now done.
Yeah.
Paint work's done from the body shop.
Yes.
We've done the water leaks on this car. We've done the geo on this car. We've done all the servicing and mechanical and brakes, discs. We've done everything.
Yeah.
So now we're going to just pretty it.
It's all been washed and decontaminated.
Yes.
You've got fresh paint here. So really what we're going to do is polish it. We're just going to polish it with Rupes Uno Advanced, which is a light polish and nano sealant in one, so that we can polish it, leave the material on there for half an hour, buff it all off, and it's protected as well. Dan went over and trizapped this, and had done a really good job actually.
Yeah, the roof was really flat.
Not because this is flawless, because it isn't, but because I saw it before you'd done that.
It was bad,
and it was terrible. So he's trizapped it and cut it, and so we'll use the finishing polish as well, just to finish off any light little bits of sanding marks around the edges or anything, and get the car just finished. And it's an amazing car, isn't it, Dan?
Yeah, you know, for a car that's what, 25, what year is she? 2001, 24 years old.
Yeah.
It's only done 64, so nice miles, but you know, it's still got 24-year-old interior and paint, and generally speaking, it's pretty minty,
she's a good example.
Yeah.
We were just talking, me and Dan, about, because we've pulled this car apart, we've had all this interior out, we've pulled all of the front out to do various jobs.
Yeah.
It's been up on ramps and it's had jobs done on it. You got new brakes put on it and all that sort of stuff. You see everything with them, and it's like there's always another job, isn't there?
You could, you know, we were talking about this earlier. You could keep chasing. Do you get a dent man round to get a few little tiny dents out? Do you change them a lower arm on it? Do you do this, have a little bit on it, or do you leave that a little bit longer? And it gets to that point where you have to stop.
You've got to hand this over
because
now,
at the end of the day, I've sold the car now. It's someone else's car, so all I should do, I do way more than the average forecourt's going to do. I mean, they never go to the level of what I'm doing here. So this is good enough for the money that the car's sold for. It's a really good car with fundamentally the majority of stuff done.
And it's going to a good owner as well.
Yes.
But I think the reality of these 996s is you've got to throw a few thousand each year until you get them like where everything's done, and then perhaps the cost of ownership comes down. Have you spoken to Chaz about these?
Yes, they're
coming off, yeah?
They're going.
Yeah, so we're going to take those stickers off. How long have they been on there, Dan?
Don't know, quite a while. They might have left a mark, eh?
Yeah, they should be all right, because it looks quite glossy around them. So
yeah.
So we're just worried maybe underneath them, but it'll be glossy underneath them once it's polished. Just worried if the rest of the paint around them is faded underneath the clear coat. Like say if you had red paint and that they'd been on there for 10 years.
Oh, they'd be bad. You'd have the little horses there. You'd never get rid of it.
Yeah, you'd take those off, then put a bigger sticker back over.
So yeah, you don't want these on. This is Pegasus, isn't it? It's the
I don't know what it is.
The original Mobile One.
I don't mind stickers and stickers
racing.
and all that, but
the Pinkies ones are nice. We like them, don't we, John?
Well, I think this one probably looks good, just clean, without anything on it.
Yeah.
It's silver. That's part of the thing with this
leaving
factory.
a lot of glue residue on it, John.
That's not a problem.
Yeah, we can get that off.
It's that factory aero look that you want with these, and it's got a real stock interior. And now, can you see, like, when we talk about terracotta, why we like it so much? You imagine, I always use this analogy, you're cruising through the Swiss Alps, just passing through the passes, heading towards Andermatt. And you pull over for a coffee and a bagel or whatever, and then you look inside your car and you just see that. And it's just a little bit different to black, isn't it?
It brightens up a dull day as well. If you drive this car on a rainy, dull, typical grey English day, you feel like you're on holiday when you're in there.
It's a real touring colour.
Yeah.
And that's why I think combinations like silver and terracotta are great. But anyway, let's get on with the polishing. So what I'm going to do is just polish the front bumper and wings to start with. We're a bit tight on space here, but I'm going to get the front of the car polished and then work my way down, probably that side, this side and the roof, and then we'll perhaps open the hatch up and bring the car forward and do the back. So in terms of how long this is going to take to polish this car, I reckon about 2 hours.
Yeah, I mean, we've got a fair bit to do too. As long as we get it done today, I'd like to hand the car over tonight while the weather's nice. because tomorrow's forecast is rain, and we can get it out of this garage straight to Chaz's garage.
Yeah.
On a dry evening, it'd be lovely, wouldn't it?
Yeah. So yeah, about 2 hours really, because it's going to be a
John.
single pass. That'll be probably a four. I don't know if I'm going to do 4 pass sets.
It has left a little outline of the horse.
Has it?
Yeah, but I think it's polish offable. Just see it. Oh, I don't know actually. It's pretty gone, isn't it?
Just glue. So that's fine. So we haven't got to worry about that. So maybe a slow two pass set is the best thing for this, and then leave this stuff on there. So a quick finish rather than a cut, if you like, which is good. And also then we're not doing major clear coat removal, which we don't really want to do on the car.
No,
it's not. It doesn't need it. So
it's too good for that, isn't it?
Yeah. So let's get started.
Okie dokes.
Okay guys, so the front bonnet and both wings and front bumper have been polished, and it's time, I think, if I start here, this polish has been on for over 15 minutes to half an hour, so it's ready to buff. So I can get the front all buffed and then move on to the side and the wings. So I just always like to show the buff, because as well as how the polish works, buffing it can be the bit that makes or breaks how good this is. But I think with this product, it's a good buffer. Yeah, it's a good buffer. Very hard on silver to tell, but you can feel like when you're just buffing over it, it's kind of like pretty silky. So yeah, this should be easy, and this should be like getting you that final finish now. And if you're having to fight like this last stage when you've done all this work of like cutting, you know, polishing, and then you're fighting to get the buff, you just don't want that. So
John, are you fighting for your right?
To the right to buff. Yeah, so it's really important, and it's a good buff actually. What do you think, Dan, of this? You have not used this stuff before, have you?
No, what is it? The rupes?
Rupes Advanced.
I can't really get there, John, and I'll come and have a look in a minute.
It's just like a finishing polish. It feels quite
translation.
waxy when you kind of use it and you put it down onto the machine. It's a bit kind of more waxy than a normal, even though it's not wax, but you know what I mean, than a normal finishing polish, but it's just really nice.
It's really nice.
You're gonna, the chances of you missing a bit are less with this product, which is some of the risk for me. Is like, you know, I notice it more in a black car. If I go around finishing a car and I've been using different sort of compounds that you've got to buff off and polishes, then the chance of you missing a bit, or there being a bit of stubborn compound or finishing polish, is quite high. So it's just nice when it's easy. Whenever it's easy, it should all just go smoothly. And if things are going wrong, then you kind of look to change things to fix those problems. And that's sometimes when you use a product and you're using it and it's not working, you change and you're like, oh yeah, fix the problem. Most of the time though, it's what you're doing rather than the actual product, I guess. But there we go. So I'm going to carry on, get all this buffed. You can already see the shine's going to be really, really nice. So let's crack on.
286 horsepower. I think that's massively fast.
Dan's talking about lap times around Goodwood. He reckons he can get close to 130. Maybe on Cup 2s, maybe in DTC, maybe it's possible. Now, maybe not.
Maybe not.
Maybe so not. The car has been polished, and I've just taken a clean, one of these soft rags, and just go over the car one final wipe down, because even though it looks clean, it's silver. And all the areas you polish, they can be polished just that you can't see unless the light's shining a certain way and there's a little patch of polish somewhere. Very easy to do that. So this just final little wipe down. Just make sure you get it all. Paintwork's feeling lovely and silky, which is really nice. And it's really just glossy now, and it's good and ready to hand over to the new owner, which is fantastic. Let's just get all that. And yeah, this car will be gone. Be sad to see it go, actually, because I've seen now, since I got to know Dan, how many of these we got and looked at? 5 or 6, 7?
More than that.
8?
Double figures, 10. John. 10, 20
Yeah.
probably.
Yeah, maybe. I don't think I've looked at 20.
You've not been at all of them with me, but you've been at, I'd say you've been to at least 12, 13 with me.
In the last 2 years, roughly,
Yeah,
at least.
definitely.
This is probably one of the best ones I've seen, without a shadow of a doubt. In fact, it is probably the best one I've seen.
I think D7 NTC, which is
I forgot about that one.
D7WXX.
Very similar, though.
Very similar. That's the best one I've ever had.
Yeah, okay.
I think this might be the second best.
Yeah, very similar. So Dan had a C2 in the same Arctic silver.
Same interior.
There's like that little Chad there peering over the wall. His little head. Yeah, it was very lovely. But that was the C2, which some people prefer. But this really was a very similar kind of proposition in terms of condition. The thing with these cars, like we've said many, many times, is that they're old cars. So there's no two ways about that. So that's a double-edged sword. If you're a perfectionist, look at they did a really good job with this paint. It looks really
Paint
nice.
Dynamics, mate, they're the best.
Yeah. If you're a perfectionist, like some people might not like these 996s and just think, well, they're just a bit dated and all that, and they're just a bit problematic, and they are problematic. But when you own them, they start to take a hold of you. They take a hold of you. They really do. And then you just love them, and then you love kind of fixing them and like, you know, go and get second-hand parts and you take things out and you fix faults and you kind of, you get to know the cars and you spend an afternoon, like Dan will come over and we'll work on the cars. You spend an afternoon chatting. You take them to track days with other Porsche people and you get part of the community. And it's just, that is all of the best things about car ownership that I don't think you get it if you go and buy another car necessarily. I mean, there's obviously car communities and stuff with the older things, but I don't think it's as strong as the Porsche community from what I've seen. That's from owning lots of other cars, so I really like that as well. And yeah, so this car will be now coming out of here, and this evening going off to the new owner, and then it's going to get driven. That's the important thing. You've got to dress the tyres up, Dan, yeah?
Yeah, I've got a Maguire's ceramic satin tyre dressing that I like on that, not a glossy one.
Okay.
And it really does waterproof them as well. It's really good.
And we'll do the glass as well, and then we're done, yeah? That's it.
And then just tidy up a few extra little wipe down in the interior, touch a couple of little bits up in the interior. There's a few black marks on the wheels I was going to polish off. I can't remember what wheel it was.
Yeah.
Maybe it might have been tar or something.
Okay.
And then,
and that's
kind of
done.
And then the airbox is nearly done.
The cap there, these are silver cap, that's going to
clean under the front. This is the new airbox I'm building up.
Lovely. That looks lovely and clean.
It looks all brand new. Performance air filter with the PSR line. Muffler. Resonator delete. I was going to say muffler delete. Resonator delete. So this will give it more throaty intake noise. Deep. Not quite K&N like ours with the complete throttle body.
You don't get the induction roar, do you?
The resonation is designed to stop that.
The induction roar is a double-edged sword because it's there all the time and it becomes a bit too racy. But I've got induction, I've got a loud exhaust, But mine's a track car.
This is subtle.
This is a tourer. This is a performance tourer with a really nice exhaust, really nice suspension, really
Exhaust
nice
sounds
brakes.
awesome on this car. It's
Yeah,
a
it does.
Miltech system
When it
on this
goes at
car.
full
It sounds
chat.
fantastic.
Yeah, it's really good. Yeah, very nice. What was I going to say?
I don't know. We're kind of nearly there. I've got to lube up some WD-40 under on the shocks and stuff like that.
Yes.
I'll wait till the door's open for that because it's fumey. I'll be
Yeah,
spraying
yeah.
a whole can in
And
there.
we're done. Oh yeah, so I was just going to say, really, so this was about polishing a car. So me and Dan were talking about this, that I think if you're ever selling a car, like just before you sell it, is like just give it, even if it's just like what we've done, just a whiz over, like a wash, a clay, and a whiz over with a polish, so that the car paintwork is silky smooth and shiny, makes such a difference. And I don't think, you know, those 20 cars we've looked at, not one of them I think has been presented as a sort of
No, they've
car.
all been really quite poorly presented, really.
Yeah, and
haven't
that can
they?
make a big difference, I think, when you're selling. I think people know this already. It does make a big difference. But with this, Dan, you might want to just roll this back a little bit, actually.
Yeah, I'm going to work at the back now, aren't I?
Okay.
All right, okay, yeah, you want to go up with the door?
Yeah, just a little bit. With this as well, the fact that the whole front end's been repainted does make a big difference. You know, because that's really important. The bonnet. I mean, I don't think ideally in an ideal world you want to paint the whole front end of the car because it's expensive, but it just needed it, this car. It had a little crack in the paint there and a little dent, and all the paint was missing back there. And so you could get away with it almost, but it's just worth painting
It would have
all.
rusted, wouldn't it? And
It'd have
it would have bugged him.
You can't touch up right there in the middle. You
No,
can't
bang
really
in the
smart
middle.
repair it right
Yeah.
there. It's not worth it. It's just you've got to have it painted.
I've got
and then when you've got
brand
to
new-
paint that, you've got to really do those as well. And if you're doing that as well, you wouldn't colour match with just silver. Paint bumper, paint middle, colour match and leave those. You'd blend over on the wings as well. So it looks like a new front end, which is what we wanted. So yeah, really good. Okay, Dan, thank you as always for your feedback. And don't forget to follow Dan's timeless fashion advice. Look, what's he wearing?
Pot kettle black.
I know, yeah.
John is Sainsbury's answer
know.
to George. No, that's Asda, isn't it?
Julio Giorgio.
Julio Giorgio, as you used to call me.
Thanks,
Working
Dan.
clothes, John. Working clothes.
Working clothes, yeah. Thanks for that. Follow Dan on Dan's Timeless Classic on YouTube and Dan's Timeless Classics 2 on Instagram, is
That's
it?
the one.
Lovely. Okay, over and out. Dush.
Holding on to what I knew, but the moment's gone. Where was I?